Welcome to Strategy Unlocked, where CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, executives, and veterans come together to share the real strategies behind success. This is not theory. This is lived experience applied. From startup founders to boardroom leaders, from veterans to visionaries. If you're scaling or redefining your leadership, you're in the right room. And if you're ready to your voice, sharpen your presence, or learn how to command the room, we work with you through Master Coach Headquarters. Strategy Unlocked is powered by Business Navigators in partnership with Veteran Coaching Network and Master Coach Headquarters. This is where leaders align, voices rise, and strategy is unlocked.
Welcome to Strategy Unlocked. My name is Luke Medvegy, and luckily today we have Dennis Wimer here. Dennis comes with a large, vast background, and of course he's a Air Force veteran, so another great vet that appears on Strategy Unlocked. Dennis, thank you for coming today.
Oh, glad to be here. Thank you very much, Luke.
Dennis, can you share a little bit about yourself from your time in the Air Force and maybe some of the values or KPIs you've learned and maybe how you applied it later on in life?
Yeah, so joined the Air Force, went through ROTC at a great school, Purdue University here in Indiana, and came out and became a navigator on C-141 cargo airplanes. Great airplane, allowed me to travel all around the world, but also some great opportunities to lead and to do things that many others wouldn't have the opportunity to do. So my last couple of years, I served as the operations officer of a special operations unit in the Air Force. And what an exciting opportunity to be able to serve with some of the best folks across the Navy, the Army, and the services, and really work them and do some amazing things across the world. So did that for about 9 years, and it gave me the opportunity to lead programs, threw me into situations that I was completely unprepared for, and said, let's solve the problem. And that's one thing that I think fits across all of our careers, but definitely on my career, where, boy, I'm not this. I got to get prepared, I got to get ready, and then I got to go solve the problem. So I left the Air Force. I got my MBA at the end of my 9 years. My last 2 years, I got my MBA also at University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. Got awarded that MBA there, which was working and going to school with some people who were tops in their fields and are now some across the world. And came out and worked at a consulting firm, McKinsey, and that's a very high intellectual connectivity with business challenges, with the how do you go in and solve a problem? How do you look at a question that you're being asked and say, okay, I have no idea what this is, because you're coming in fresh, you're coming in new, and you have some expertise in certain areas, but you then go and solve the problem and provide a valuable solution for your client. Did that for a few years, but really I'm a Midwestern guy and wanted to get back to Indiana and started to work at Eli Lilly. Got hired back here, and Lilly is a great company. It's done amazing things. It is an organization that when I was there was about 15th or 16th largest pharmaceutical company, and now they're the largest market cap pharmaceutical company in the world. Not due to nothing I did, but some people that I worked with and their successes has driven that company just But had an opportunity 5 years at Lilly to go with a partner, a colleague, and start a company. And said, well, let's see what that looks like. And so went and started a marketing company. Have been doing marketing at Lilly for the years, and did that. But much like many of our veteran colleagues, I was missing a mission. I wasn't that mission behind me. And just by kind of luck, I was looking at a nonprofit newsletter and saw that a nonprofit that I had known since I was a kid was looking for a new CEO, and they had just looked for a CEO shortly, like 6 months or so beforehand. So something didn't work. It was a children's home, I've never ran a children's home. And I get into the interviews, and I'm expecting hopefully I can get on the board. Maybe I help that way, because I business degree, but I haven't ran a nonprofit. I haven't ran what is services. Besides the fact that my parents raised 13 foster children and adopted 2, and I've engaged with many of this youth that are in services when I was a kid and grown up. Got in there. Sure enough, I got hired as the CEO, and I found out they're losing a lot of money on their budget, and we're continuing down on how much money they were losing. And so my job was to get in there and bring it back out of the challenge that it had. And so in 2 years, we were able to get it to break even, cut the loss in half in the first year, and broke even the second year, and then gave it a platform to move forward. That's when I got a call from the governor's office, and one of the staff of the governor knew me and said, "Hey, we need someone to run all of the offices across the state of Indiana for workforce." And there are about 90 some offices across the state. And so need someone to be the kind of operations person to make all the workforce system happen across the state of Indiana. So came first time working in government, besides the military, and in the state government. Did that for about 6 years, and a new governor came in. And what happens when new governors come in? You may not still have your same job, but I did. But I started to look, and ran into Butler University, where they were working on starting an organization to help small and privately held businesses grow and learn and understand and utilize all the things that the Butler Business School has for them. And it's a great school. The business school leadership is outstanding. The dean of the business school there is just a fantastic individual. So I was there when another opportunity came along that I could not pass up and could not avoid. I was having lunch with some friends, and they said, "Hey, you're the director of the Department of Veterans Affairs for the state, resigned today." I was like, I had not heard that. So we left lunch, and I walked over to the governor's office. Don't know the governor, knew one person in the governor's office. And I asked for Chris, and I said, "Hey, I'm here for the job." And he's like, "What job is that?" I said, "Well, the one that opened today, to lead Veterans Affairs for the state." And he looks at me and says, "You're a veteran?" Because we didn't know each other as veterans. We knew each other. He wasn't a veteran, but he didn't know me as a veteran. He knew me through the other opportunities that I did. So I interviewed and got the position, and I laughed because the governor, well, before we hire you, the governor wants to get with you and meet you and make sure that you're the right person for him. And they go, "Can you meet in an hour?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'm downtown, but I'm in shorts and a t-shirt." They're like, "Yeah, that'll be fun." So went met with Governor Eric Holcomb in shorts and a t-shirt, and had my interview with him and got the job. So did that about 6 years. What an amazing opportunity to serve this community. Was outstanding. Something that I would continue to strive to have again. And this time, new governor, and governor brings in their own people. And so last year I moved on with the new governor, and I've been now doing my own thing with my own company and serving in other ways. But that's a variety of activities. And as I said, many of those I had no idea what I was doing walking into. Never ran a children's home, never worked in workforce development before. I didn't even know all the veterans benefits that were out there. I'd only got my own a year earlier. So, it is a skill that was honed in the military and honed at McKinsey, of going in, understanding, and then making decisions that need to be made and moving forward to move the organization and the individuals towards the goals and the objectives that they are striving for. It's the same everywhere. And that aligns with the work that I've done.
You said earlier, and you started out with it, and I think it's spot on. You said you are a problem solver, and veterans are problem solvers.
Right.
And they are. Excuse me. A lot of times, folks see veterans as, "Hey, I'm a turner, I'm a mechanic, I'm an infantry, so I'm a trigger puller, or police." Truth is, you should, and most people should, just remove all those titles, and they should say that those people are problem solvers for whatever situation they're put in. Most folks don't realize this, but if it for whatever reason is shot in combat, or if there's an issue in that vehicle in combat, there's something they call BDAR, or some people know it as BDAR. And it stands for Battle Damage Assessment Repair. And in that, you literally, and if anyone's ever watched MacGyver, that's what that mechanic is doing. They're being a MacGyver, a Johnny on the spot, to fix that vehicle so it can move from wherever the kinetic activity is to a rest point or a point out of more like that high intensity conflict area zone where it's a little safer. Or take the crew and get them to a safe location. It's folks always look at military folks from like a lens of, yeah, that guy's he's commander or but the truth is, you should look at them as they are problem solvers, because no matter what they're doing, battle damage assessment repair in every job and every activity they're in. They may call it something different. Mackenzie may have their 7-step model, or someone else have a different type of model, but at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing. You're taking from a point literally through crisis, hopefully calmly, and you're getting to where it can be reset and taken care of. And
Luke, up in hearts, I can't hear you at all. Not yet. Just a little choppy. I don't think it's my phone. I think it feels like a microphone. Yeah, it feels more like a connection issue.
Yeah, and I'm on fiber optic.
Yep.
So we have that in the country. No, it wasn't that way a year ago.
Yep, you're better now.
Okay, so what it does is I'll have to edit this whole part, but what this happens is this software in browser, so it records, picks up packets, and sends it to a server. And a lot of times it'll just do that. But what happens is in the end, it collapses the packets. So it maybe be a little bit choppy for you and me. No one will see it on the end.
Yeah. And at that point, I couldn't it was so. Yeah. It's anything I could understand.
Do you have chat in the side? Oh, you can't see because you're on the phone. All right, don't sweat it. That's fine. I appreciate you saying something.
Yep. Yeah. I can.
You probably don't see chat.
Like that. Nope.
If you could just.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, don't sweat it because you're on the phone. I was going to say just type 1 in or something. But all right, let me get back. What was I saying?
Talking problem solving and that
Yeah. But I see a lot in the so going back. So in the civilian world, a lot of times folks go from job to job to job. That happens in the military as well. Especially as officers, you'll go from one role of whatever crisis action or management or leadership to the next role, and they develop you this way. And they don't just put you out there, they put you out there with a great mentor, a great coach, usually in the beginning, and that's like someone's been doing it for 20 years. So they pair you up with that education, but they pair you up with that guy who has that real leadership experience. And in the Army, they call that the platoon sergeant. And I'm still good friends with my platoon sergeants to this day, which is a testament to their character and maybe a little bit to mine. But to the point that one of them started a nonprofit with me called American Heroes Equine Connection Incorporated, help vets and first responders with PTSD. And we don't just do equine therapy. That's really the culminating event. We do ranching, we do gardening, Tai Chi, we do it all. We set them up by days and buckets. And we have veterans that are a little more dedicated. We'll bring them in and we'll just work with them over a week or so. But in reality, officers don't just pair with people. Like, you have to be a person of character, a person that is really yourself. And then set you up for success. And I am able to retire from the United States Army because I was set up for success by so many great folks. And that's that teamwork, and that's that, when you're of solving, you never forget the people. Like, it's always a team. And they're great mentors. But one point about the civilian is a lot of time you go from job to job, you never really had a chance to lead a budget, never really had a chance to lead a bunch of folks. And I think that's what separates the military from a lot of other throws out there, a lot of other professions, is you'll grab someone right out of college and say, hey, you're responsible for $5 million, or you're responsible of, maybe 100. It's not just lives, it's their families too. And maybe a $30 million job because of the tools or the tanks or the vehicles, or because of whatever else makes them do what they need to do. It's more than weapon systems. It's the people behind the weapon systems what matters the most. And it's pretty amazing. Our veterans get the level of responsibility on behalf of the United States government. And they represent less. What I find sometimes is a lot of times veterans sometimes have a problem shifting for leaving the military and then going into the civilian workforce. Have you ever experienced that yourself? And have you experienced any friends who've experienced that? And C, how did you address it?
So yes, in multiple ways. I think every veteran going to experience it for this reason. Some of the things that you said around when you're in the military, you've got a platoon sergeant, you've got other officers who have done what you have done and are above you. You've got those below you that are seeking to do what you're doing and need mentorship, and so you become a mentor, whether you like it or not. And so that structure is necessarily out there in the business world. There would be very few companies that might have that kind of structure. A GE that has a whole system for developing people, but many organizations are bringing you in for a position and for a job or to do one thing, not that whole kind of holistic, I want you thinking about the whole system and how this impacts everything else. That's not for. And so that's a challenge. That is something that is, and that's why many veterans leave that after the military within a year or so. I'm not going to quote the data because I can't quote it exactly, but it is something along those lines that it's that that's something an issue. It's system and structure. It is experience. They want to come in able to think. Many of them. We're generalizing things, but you've been tasked to think your career and your whole life up to this point in work, and now it's just kind of for many things doing a task, and that's not necessarily as fulfilling. And you don't have the supports around you. People go home at the end of the day. They take their kids to sports stuff. That community that you had day and night is not there, and that's a reality. And so you have to figure out how to, and need support, how to through that and how to achieve. Now, one thing that you notice about my career was I stepped through a lot of different roles, but it was leading the organizations to a place, and then going, okay, where's my next challenge? Where's the opportunity? And so, much like the military of officers and especially also we're moving every couple of years to another job. I've been ready for opportunity and ready to do what I someplace else, and now new, and that was kind of learned through the military. Now friends, I've had friends who have just had amazing challenges with, and then I have it's hard to say friend, but a colleague who he and I were. He was in the Army, I was in the Air Force. We never knew each other in the military, but we connected at business school, and he now is CEO of one of the largest companies in the world. With football, so that kind of stuff. He has figured out how to succeed and excel, and because he into those positions, and he just continued to drive himself around him. And so, for militaries, we're given a vision. We're given a mission. We're given a path and a task to do and to move forward with it. But we get to define a lot of the things along the way for ourselves and for our community around us. When you go into a company, they may not have a clear vision or a clear mission. And even if they do, not everybody there around you is driven by it. And so, whereas everyone around you in the military, whether they complain about things or not, which we all do and all did, the dirt and the.
It's always the platoon. It's always the guys.
Yeah.
It's the next one. The one.
Yep. So, but in business and companies, not everybody's aligned the same path, and also you see someone walking a different path. Well, in the military, that's going to get you killed, or get somebody else killed. And you can't have the business environment. People let that happen. All of a sudden, something also moves on this other path. That may be good or not, but it's a strange thing for us, right? And so the challenge in out of the military into a successful business and work career is to find that mission and find the internal engine and motion that drives you forward. And that isn't built always yourself. It's built with colleagues, it's built with mentors, And all along the way, I've always sought out people around me to help. And so always, in business, always engaged in every organization I've been in with a broader community. So, and when I was at the children's home, there was an association of directors of children's homes or of facilities. I engaged in that group and leveraged the experience with all of those other directors who knew so much more than I did. So I put myself into a situation that was similar to my experience in the military. And when I haven't had the opportunity to do that, when doors are shut or things don't align, I needed to move on. And it just didn't. So moved on. And so that's something for us soldiers and as airmen, and I always use soldiers as a generic term, but not everybody does. If you look up the dictionary, it kind of says generic. But as all of us served, we have to then say, okay, how do we find that? And quite often it's in ourselves, but you got to go find around me and connect. And that's not always military folks, it's the community. And so how do you get connected? When I see folks who are floundering or failing, quite often it's because they're not connected.
Yes.
They're and broad with anything and everything. And so that's amongst us who have been in, whether we, that's why you see all these senior executive mentor and communication groups, because they need connection. It's not just military, it's us, individuals, people. We need connection. And we need to help drive that connectivity.
Humans are not robots. Humans need connection.
Right.
I want to do a quick. So,
most definitely.
4 Block is an organization where they help veterans that are out. A CEO, he's a great guy who's really helped veterans across the U.S. and the world. I would even speculate because we have U.S. veterans everywhere. But it's an organization. I'm a 4 Block coach. Folks who are listening, check out 4 Block. It's an amazing organization. Another great one is IVMF, Institute for Veteran Military Families. I'm an ambassador with them. I'm the only one for Indiana, and anyone in Ohio or anyone local, I'm the guy. So, but at the end of the day, IVMF has a lot of, free opportunities where to upskill. Because if you think that's what it takes for you to get that job, then hey, go check it out. They do more than that. If you're a vet, you're listening, you want to run for politics, hey, they have programs for you now. It's called Vet and Politics, brand new. They just did it a week or 2 ago. It's a great organization. They do a lot for veterans across the U.S. And they're all about take vets. And they have a lot of great points like the Edge, which is a conference people could go to. It just happened, I think, earlier in the month, where if you need that connection that Dennis is speaking about, that's an organization where if you're a CEO and a veteran, go to the Edge and then expand your network with other veterans. And they gladly do. It's amazing. They help you. There's a saying we use in the Veteran Coaching Network. It's called iron sharpens iron. It's biblical, but at the end of the day, I see it as where we come together and just help each other be better veterans, better CEOs, better parents, better husbands, better wives, better people in the world. So I always say iron sharpens iron. So I wanted to give a quick plug to those. Also the Commit Foundation is another great one. And there's so many out there, folks. So many. In fact, if you're interested in more, come to the Veteran Coaching Network. Check out summit.veterancoachingnetwork.com. And we have a newsletter about veterancoachingnetwork.com. And if you're trying to figure out other resources, other tools, and things that can help you out starting out, even if consulting activities, to blog.thebusinessnavigators.com, or check out The Business Tom. It's a great organization that has tools and services that helps the veterans. And they hire veterans and veterans to help solve and be problem solvers across the U.S. Thank you, Dennis, for letting me do that. I'm going to speak to you about your current mission next, if that's okay. So, and I want to pull on what you mentioned earlier, and because I know Unlocked is really to help folks unlock their personal strategy or business strategy. I'm going to share a couple things with you later because I've learned a lot in last year that I didn't learn it there, although I love IU and I learned a lot there. But there's no school that can just teach you everything. So you have to go to something called the School of Life. And I've had a lot of time in my hands this year, so I invested in myself, and I really went into a lot of courses from vibe coding, AI, analytics, and I really kind of upskilled myself. And I attended some courses that cost like $20K just to get it. And it was actually, very frank with you, is because other vets and folks who believe in me, and it's a blessing. And I didn't have 20K, which is actually even a blessing for my family. And to be also frank, take a lot of those tools that I was taught, and I try to help veterans and share it with them. And I think they know that, and that's why they help me and I talk about them. I'm going to share one of those organizations as a plug. It's called Paul Bickford Solutions. Anyone's ever interested in career mastery, and if you're a CEO listening right now, you need to move from CEO to another CEO because you're made 1 million, but you knew that you did 5 million worth of work and you brought in 10 million worth of to that business. Well, hey, check out Bickford Solutions Career Mastery, and he'll help you upskill and change from CEO making 1 mil to maybe CEO making 3 mil, 5 mil, etc. Because he's done it and he'll do it again, and he'll help you. If you're a VP or C-suite professional, you're looking to change to a next VP C-suite, well, there you go. And if you're a veteran, reach out to me personally, because I will make sure you sit down with Paul Bickford personally himself and help you through your career mastery today. Okay, good with the plugs. So current mission. So stepping down as a director of the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs, what missions are you focused on now, and where are you spending most of your time?
Well, kind of on myself and my family to the transition. It was comical, placement stuff afterwards, and somebody said, find you your dream job. I was like, that too late. I left it, and I say job because much of my career you see that I've with 4 others. So you have entrepreneurs, you have workers, and I like to lead organizations, like to change organizations. I like to drive system change, and sometimes that's developing a new system. I've done that a number of times where the system did not exist, but things within it could help change. And one of the things that I agree with 100%. IU didn't teach you everything. Wharton didn't teach me everything. I think the receive at those places is outstanding and important to do, but you got to then go and learn from the mistakes and the successes that you have. So no matter where you go to, it doesn't matter. The education I received was no better education that you received at IU, no worse. But we learned many of the same things, but we had to go then apply them, and had to have the ability to go apply them. But so personal mission. One, I system change. Our experiences where I can help create system change. And so I've got a number of different projects that I've been working on for organizations around changing their system. I have a conversation this afternoon around how can I come in and help them, an organization that's having some difficulty, move in the right direction. Now the challenge is I do that quite often as it's a job versus a consultant who comes in and I like to focus. I like to have that job be the key focus. I read a book around corporate entrepreneurship, and so it's being an entrepreneur within a corporate organization, and whether that be a government, whether that be a company, you sitting there working within an organization can be an entrepreneur, and corporations can allow that. You just have to figure out how to do it.
I love
and how to connect it. Yeah, the corporate is something that really you can be a company and it be a company and create impact. I created a program, didn't exist state, that within a year it was the largest and it was the one that states do. It was the largest program in the nation, and we're the 17th largest state in the nation. But we were, by pure volume, not percentages, pure volume, we were above and beyond all of the other large states. And it was something that just needed the right kind of leadership and the right kind of partners together. You said something earlier, it's about that team. So nothing that I've done always been finding the people that can lead forward, that can take direction, that can then go and do. I don't like micromanaging. I don't like, that's in the military. If you got them, that's hard, because you got to give your team a mission and then walk away and let that team go do that mission. And so I've done that my whole career, where here's the idea, here's the direction, and then I push my team to give me input that says go a different direction, right? That's one of the things that surprises people is that in the U.S. military, not necessarily all militaries, the leadership expects folks to give input, not just blindly go forward at times. Now, but when you're told to move forward, you then move forward, and that's a huge difference. I remember great dialogues before about how we were going to do the mission, debate. Well, let's do it X, let's do it Y. But then when the leader said we're doing it in this way, everybody went forward.
We call it the salute. We call it the salute zone, or salute and move out.
Yep.
Draw fire. So go fast, execute.
But you won't find that a lot in people are afraid to challenge. People are afraid to raise questions, and they're because they're afraid that boss doesn't want that input. Individual that worked for me that came into my office and said, Dennis, for the first 6 months, first 3 months here, home every night crying because I knew you were going to fire me. And I'm like, what did I do that caused that? She goes, well, you kept asking me to do things that I didn't know how to do, and you told me that you would support me in them. Until I actually learned that I came in and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was expecting to be let go. And you said, well, hey, let's sit down and figure this out. And let me, I got it. Here, I'll help you. Got it going. She went, it's been the most liberating thing I had once I figured that out. And she then started to create things. She started to drive programs. She started to lead in that group and so I put her into the leadership role. And it was just outstanding. But it was something that she didn't trust, also because of her gained experience. And
what's amazing what you just said though, is that I did talk to you about it. And there's something called the Johari window, which I learned a lot in communication. And the fact that means there was trust in the office. The fact that she's able to turn to you and have that conversation says that she trusts you. That's huge. A lot of corporate or a lot of other places, like, hey, if you show them a fissure, show them a little weakness, you're out. I mean, come on. I mean, you worked in these jobs. That's sometimes how it is. So, and it's close to your point that the military does a lot of development, mentorship, coaching, pulling, pushing. We really take time to understand people's personalities and who's weak, so we can make them stronger. And a lot of times in corporate America, they do that, but they do that for always do that for they're still coming up the rungs.
Right. So,
and I don't know that person's background. Right. She could have taken it start looking for jobs. And that is for anybody out there, is that when you're in the military, you sign a contract. You can't just go for a job. I mean, you can always look for a job. You just go take the job. Whereas in the civilian world, you're like, hey, bye, thank you. In states like Indiana, you're out. So, hey, thank you, appreciate it, have a good day, and never come back. Like, those are things that really can happen. The other side, right?
Well, the one thing that in every leadership I've engaged with, informed the team that this is what you have, but then I had to show them that they had that and prove it, which is the ability to fail. And I've told all my team, hey, if you are trying to do, if you're not doing against three things, it's ethical, moral, and legal. We don't cross those lines. Then it's all ideas and decision making, information, and none of us have perfect along all three of those areas. So we don't make perfect decisions. So if there's not an environment where leadership allows their team to try and then to fail and then supports that, then an organization has a hard time growing. And so, we've in the military, I failed a lot. I threw things in the wrong place, was off time, and we for that. So we ourselves through those failures to be the best we could be when we went and actually did our job. And that's the training and the always have a lot of that training opportunity in a corporate environment. So you have to give them those opportunities along the way. And as a leader, you have to identify things that you can give to people where if they fail, you got their back. You could be able to build and grow it back up. Rarely is individual growth kind of failure going to the organization. It's when someone's been doing something again and failing again and again. If someone through those failures, they may need to move on. That role may not be the right role. So, as a leader, I've come into organizations that kind of mindset right away. And it's great when the people that are to take you up on that, to see them grow and to see them blossom. And then those that are not, it may not be the right organization for them. And I came into my last one, they said, well, you can't let any veterans go, can you? And I was like, oh, heck yeah, sure I can. I can move somebody on. But if they're not the right person, we're going to try to find them the right job. And this was a great, somebody gave me input a couple weeks that it was wonderful. I had a very challenging situation where I had to lay off 70 people in one day. That's hard. You down $10 million, people are the only could go. We spent about 3 months trying to figure out who were the people that were rank ordered, team rank ordered. And then I had the leaders in those areas, prepare, but then I engaged with them. And in cases, I went out and did the discussions myself. And then for the next few days afterwards, I went and met with everyone that we laid off in all the offices and let them know I was the one who made the decision for them to be laid off. And a colleague of mine just went through this again, and he said, the difference, Dennis, was time they just and let the lower level people handle it, and leaders were out there. It wasn't strongly leadership led, and so everybody then is able to leadership. Well, he said, we did it. You went out there and you gave them someone to connect with, and you supported everyone that you let go in certain ways. And we got most of them jobs, and it was an important thing to do. And I said to myself after that situation that's a person I want to follow. And when he said that to me, I never thought about it that way. I just thought this is the right way to do things for the people that you're working with. These people that you're letting go are good people. And if you just blindly let people go, if as a leader, you're going to be, and if you just blindly let people go, you are not doing the duty that you have as a leader. And people will put all sorts of, we just had to do it, and so a good way to do it, we had to rip off the bandage. Yeah, sure, but take the ownership of it, connect yourself with people, and make sure that, because that's going to help the rest of people. The organization right now has significant challenges with morale, and we didn't have any of the challenges last time. People knew why, knew what, and understood who was let go for what reasons. Not individually, of course, but we explained the process, and then they saw that we took care of the people. And so everything I've ever done has been about the people around me, and a lot of that as a leader is bringing the right people in, building the right people up, giving them opportunities to excel and succeed and fail, and then celebrating all of those. And there have been failures that I've had to let, says it was their third one in a row of the same type of failure, and I gave them all the tools, mentors, all the and they just couldn't get it done. Yeah, that happens. We're not always perfect for every job we're in. I've been fired twice, and the last one really wasn't fired as being let go, but because of new, but it's a humbling situation, but it's okay. It's all right. It means you go look at yourself and move forward.
I do think pulling on three things, one at a time, of course. So I think as a person who's been doing it for a while, or a person's new to the whole process, I think this is the same for all of you. I think you need to look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of yourself. And I'm going to share a tool, just like to share. So if you're listening and you're preparing for job interview, or maybe you've been on a job but there's a new boss, or maybe you see there is some sort of transition, but maybe you notice that things are changing around you, but you just need to do a deeper level of analysis. Well, congratulations. It's 2026, folks. This is not that difficult, but you probably need to listen to us so we can help guide you through that. So there's a program out there right now, and there's tons of AI programs. They change every week. But what I'm going to share one with you is one that was shared with me. And it's a great program. So if you're looking to maybe conduct sales as a consultant, maybe you're looking to write a paper for someone in their voice. Maybe you're going to write a book for them. However you want to do this. There's so many tools, but this one tool does a lot of it for you. It's called Crystal Knows. And if you don't know Crystal Knows, it's not the nose, it's Crystal Knows. And check it out, and it links directly with your LinkedIn. You get 5 months. And I call them the silver bullets, so it's just 5 free. Look for how you want to use them, and it will help you pull down a complete dossier on the person you're speaking. And it's an absolutely amazing tool that can help you. So if you're establishing people's processes, systems, you're maybe trying to integrate technology in your consulting, which most of us probably do. But if you're looking at it from a lens of, hey, how do I connect with my team, or how do I have my team connect with me better? Print yours off, give it to them, save them from having to pull one of their 5. But the point is that you're helping, developing, coaching, and mentoring. And I think today that you walk away with knowing Crystal Knows is a great program that can help you. And I actually don't pay for it. Oddly enough, one of the ones who you get the free 5. So, but I do use it, and I think it's a great, absolutely great. It's not always on.
Look, one thing that hit on what you mentioned AI tools. As we get older, then AI is new. So no matter what the tool is, dive into it. Dive into learn about. You can go online right now and go learn about the AI tools. Start to use them. Learn about what bots are, learn how to use bots. And a friend of mine created a AI bot that was wonderful for HR people. You handle a difficult situation, but he did in the voice of Ted Lasso. So the advice that is given is Ted Lasso advice, which for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's fantastic. But it's, and it helps have this humor. But the AI tools that are out there can give you a leg up. And that's Crystal Knows is one that I was not aware of, and so excited to dive into that and see what that looks like. But there are so many of them out there. But for anyone that's there, where do I go? What do I do? Start to learn, especially for us veterans. Go back to our roots of training. Everything we did, we started off with training. We were trained, we were built up, we got knowledge and experience, and we had none. So don't assume that you know what you're doing. Always assume that you need to learn something and need to learn more. And right now is just an amazing time to learn. There are so many things out there at every level of capability to go and do and learn. So if you're not learning, if you're not teaching yourself, if you're not letting others teach you, if you're not utilizing these tools, you are at a disadvantage to others that are out there doing it. So
No, I appreciate that. And folks, if you're listening, go to summit.veterancoachnetwork.com. Just to be frank with you, I'm a CEO like 4 different organizations and nonprofits, so maybe 5 that. So at the end of the day, I have thousands of dollars of stuff I give away. So far, I've given away over $145,000 worth of free tools or resources or books or other things. The folks that actually show up to the Veteran Coach Network, I do ask them to do a quick post, hey, I'm here, and say something positive, because we are just for veterans, first responders, executives that decide to show up and be part of the change. And I want them to come because that enables those veterans to connect with them at the end. When we open up the doors and we say, hey, let's have a moment of networking or connection, or let's connect with the speakers, because these like $20K each just to be in that room, and you get the opportunity to get it for free. So, or very minimal, maybe it's $20, but at the end of the day, it's pretty close to free. I have access to something over 2,000. And what I try to do, books, podcasts, you name it, AI, I bring them in, and I have the opportunity where I let come join the Master Coaching Accelerator, where we monthly give out free books. As you know, the Veteran Coach Network meets every 6 weeks. So it's great because you try some of the principles, and then you come back the next 6 weeks and you're like, hey, it worked, didn't work. Share why, share what we could do better, and help us all just do better. And I think veterans, I like to say what I'm hoping, and Dennis, people like you are doing. You're like the tide that rises and all boats go with it. And I think that's what veterans are doing, when they leave. The veterans are giving back and helping. Now, you did it from a VA director perspective, and you're doing it in other roles and responsibility. You're doing it today on the podcast. So I really appreciate you taking the time in being here and helping us through this. I got about 2 more questions I want to ask because I know we're running out on time here. So advice to veterans. And if you had to every veteran listening right now, what's the mindset or action you want them to adopt immediately?
You need help, no matter who you are. Yeah, and get into a community, whatever that community is. That is the one thing that will, when times are tough, you'll have a community to connect with. Those that are not working to connect with others and get help in whatever situation it is. I've always needed help in all of the roles that I've done. And I've went and reached out to people all the time and said, hey, I'm doing this. Help me understand what I do. Now, I said it earlier, we've got these AI tools and all those tools. Those will be great to give you information, but you need help here also and here. And so we need to connect personally with others. And whenever I see someone with a challenge, it's because they're not recognizing that they need help in whatever it is, whether it's Excel, whether it's AI, whether it's mental health. And that's where we run into problems. And we're, us veterans and us proud people. I can do anything. You can. But if you did it with the buddy behind you, you did it with the person in front of you, you did it with help all along the way. And I think we forget that sometimes. We all we all know that we're capable, tooled, we've been honed. We can go we all need some help to do it also. And I think that's one thing that just when I see individuals and or veterans, they're not connecting folks that can help them, that are there to help.
I think it's well said. On my last 6 months of service, almost times, I had a pulmonary embolism and pneumonia. Never had pneumonia, never had these things in my life. Now, I've been through a lot of something close to 8 years in combat, so I have a lot of experience. Unfortunately, my body going through hell, but never it's going to happen. In my last 6 months, I take a shot every month just to breathe. It's horrible. And I got all these other things but I'm still here. There's a lot of veterans are still suffering. And there's a lot of veterans who are going through that war every day. And maybe they were deployed once, but they're going through every day. And there's other veterans who've been deployed, 20 times, unfortunately. And they're war in different way. So when you say get help, it also has me reflect about more than just get help for business, more than just get help for your journey, but get help for your family, get help for yourself, get help for your community. So you can be better, you can be more, I consider myself blessed but I still consider myself blessed. And with that said, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it would. I would not be. But what I will say is, when I was going through those life-changing, I created the Mirrors Equine Connection. 2 choices at that time. One choice was pull myself in, be a recluse, and just kind of like say I'm defeated. It was a trust my mind. Or the other choice was to lead by example, even if there's no one there watching me. And my theory, my logic, my thought, it was, my kids are watching me. My wife is watching me. Someone's watching me. So how do I be better? How do I show up to be better? And I said, let's establish American Heroes Equine Connection. And I did it out of necessity. Got me off the couch. Helped me help the community with the firefighters, the police. Helped me help other veterans. And folks I never knew came out and helped me, and they helped me help others, to your point. And what it did was, besides my family being there, of course, to be a part of me, but it also helped me heal. And it helped me help others heal. And that's when I'm on this trajectory of how else can I help them? Yes, I need a full-time job, or yes, I need steady work. Yes, a lot of us do. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those veterans who have invested in me. So I felt like I have a duty and a responsibility to invest in others, and that's what I do. And I know you're doing it too, and that's what you've done in your service, and that's what you're doing now. So my 2 last questions. One is, for veterans moving in consulting or advisory roles, what are the key mistakes to avoid? and how do they build trust quickly in a new organization?
Oh, that's a good. You said these would be softballs. That's not a. That's a hard question. So consulting. Consulting's a lonely world. You're working for. You're trying to leverage your knowledge and do what you can do for others. The challenge is those others may not have any idea what skills and what capabilities you have. And when they look at some of those, like military experience, they may discount that experience. That may not be what they are looking for. So what you do is one of the mistakes made is, hey, I've got the capability, this experience, this knowledge. I can go sell my. It may not be or understand. So get additional training, which leads to some certificate base. We talk about coaching. There are coaching networks. You're a coach does not mean you're a coach. And we, Luke, you and I talked about this a little bit before that, many of our veterans can be coaches. People in the civilian world may not recognize or see that. And so, people look for things that tell them that you have knowledge and expertise and experience. Get those. And there are plenty of them that you don't have to pay a lot of money for. There are things that you can do that get the experience. LinkedIn has all these learnings and trainings and all free. Google has a ton. There are ways that you can get experience and throw that onto your resume. Give a quick example. My daughter was in college, and she started looking at the job she wanted to have in 2 years when she would graduate. And it said, well, it's helpful if you work in a hospital. She couldn't go get that training because she was in college. So she went and became an emergency medical technician, and that was training that she could do outside of the schoolwork. And so she got the skill set and the knowledge, and then worked for an EMT for a year and a half, and then got a job in a hospital. And she hasn't graduated yet. She graduates this year, and she's already got the other job. She's went and the credentialing work that needed to be done to say, I can, when you look just at my credentials, it's something that you say, I can go do that. So, that is something that we all need to do. You're not going to hire you just because you look like you did some good things. You've got to show that into how that, what is a credential looks like. What change? Well, there's certificates around change management. There's capabilities around change management. There's the ways you describe what you've done around change management. We all got to be better at that. I think a mistake is believing so much in yourself that you know you can do it, because you can't. No idea that you can do that. So whether training, marketing, it's about selling your kit. So
maybe to your point, podcasting, but do it reasonably,
Challenge yours.
Give value. Create a strategy unlock like mine. Create a, I don't know.
Create what is with you. Especially if you're going to consulting, you don't already have a built-in network. You got to create one. Well,
but
Dennis, put yourself out there. Is it fun?
You just said, and it's at the granular level for me. You don't have one, go find one. But I think that's the patterns of having is that, some vets they're gone for 3, they go back to home. And maybe they already have that network. But some vets don't go back home, and they've been in the military 20 years.
Yep.
And they have other networks, yes, but when they go to different places to be change agents or different places, they gotta create a new network. Yep. So those are more veteran networking groups, maybe in some states.
Yeah. And I said it earlier, it's about 2 things: connecting with others, on levels, and asking for help. What's funny is I've gotten more business through the club that I coached my kids in that I can throw a stick at. I mean, there's a very large, this won't be business, but it'll be a connection that I coached the CEO of this Midwestern, they're in 8 to 10 states company in fire protection. I coached the CEO's kids in soccer for like 2 years, but then another kid that I coached for a number of years was dropped out of college and needed to get in the trades. And I made a quick phone call to this guy, and the kid got a job within a week. And it's that connection and the connectivity that I use somebody else. And now I talk with this, he's 22, and he's thriving. And
I want to point out that's what vet he called, and he tried to take care of someone else, and he took care of him. Vets do that. That is absolutely spot on.
But you need to do that. And so if you're coming out, you may not have that network. And so you have to connect, you have to ask for help, you have to go to those things and help others and not look for other people to help you. Because when you start just looking for other help, you're just whining and asking, right? You go in and you're there to help and you're there to connect, and how do you help someone else? And then when time is necessary, they're there to help you too. And so, just a great connections and being with others. I can't put it down enough. And it's even more important because there are so many ways we can get stuck behind a camera without actually going and seeing people and meeting people. And it's something that my son had was saying some very challenging things about of his life. And my son's like, what how do I but he's 10 hours away. And I said, son, get on an airplane, get in a car, go. He does his own work. I said, go and be there for your friend. That's what friends do. So, pick it up and go, but you can't do it over the phone. That kind of requires some. There are ways, and people can. He started it 10 hours away, but you got to go shake a hand, give a hug, and be with someone.
On that note, I have reached out to the local legions, and they're recruitment, of course, and different dynamics and different technology perspectives. But a lot of folks are getting older and they just can't show up. And so I say, hey, listen, I have a service and it's through Valor Venture Media, for one of my companies. And I said, hey, listen, I could help you. I could literally come out with a $150 camera, this $6,000 cameras everyone sells. I come out there with this camera, hook it up to whatever mean or mode that we need to get this on, or we could just use someone's iPhone. I said, but bottom line is, I could square you away where those folks still want to be involved, but they actually need you because you're in a place and they need you. And I said, I could help it that all your needs could be projected for each hall or each location. So then the folks who just couldn't be there could still be there for the meeting. And it's closed circuits. They need a password to come in. They need everything. And I said, and then when you're done, the minutes are scraped. So we can put together your minutes. Instead of this old school scribe writing, which is still good, but still you have digital minutes all kept here, and only your members have access to it. And they're like, oh, don't call us, we'll get back to you. No one ever called.
Yeah, we got to learn new things, and not all of us are ready. Yeah.
What's that?
We have to learn and be willing things, no matter how old, no matter how young we are. And those organizations are great. I'm a member of a couple. I love them dearly. I love the people to talk with there. But it's you gotta, and whether it be companies are the same way. Doing things in a new, different way for an old staid company is hard until you get pushed that you have to do that and you move in that direction. So what you're doing, I until you find someone who is ready on and or sees it, then you got to get to that person.
Perfect ending though, because you started with, hey, you got to be entrepreneurial mindset, and now I'm going to bring it back. You need to be entrepreneurial mindset because, right? I mean, to have that change, evolution, and maybe not create in the profit, but create viewership, create involvement, create mental health improvement. I mean, is just meeting people where they are.
Entrepreneurial mindset also isn't that you have to start a company. Entrepreneurial mindset is that you have to be creative. You have to think about new and different ways to do things, and then have understand the organization you're in and how to do those. It isn't. I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't like starting companies. I'm risk averse in that way. It always has been risk averse for me. I've done it. I'm not, the risk is difficult. I like to do system change in organizations. And I like to be entrepreneurial that way. Your comment there is important, but I don't want people to think that they've got to go, I'm going to go start a company. You can do that. There are great resources out there, and give you tons of them that will help you with business, everything you need, no charges. But you can also do that in the organization that you're in. And that's where you start to make a difference. And that's what we did in the military.
Yes.
For the most of us that succeed in the military, it was about entrepreneurial thinking. How do I get this task done? Boy, that seems to be we need to go do it this way. There you go. So you can do it anywhere you're at. But I agree with you 100% that that's the mindset that is important.
I love it. Dennis, is there any last points or anything you want to leave our audience or anyone with? You have so much vast experience, you did all different levels. And quite frankly, if no one's ever said it to you, I want to say it to you. Thank you for your service and thank you for doing this.
Feel free to reach out. So let me that. I'm on LinkedIn. I was within the first, I think 6 months LinkedIn started, I was on it. And I had a friend who was kind of getting it going and knew people. And so said, I need to go do this. So, okay, fine, whatever. But I'm on LinkedIn, just search my name and there you'll find me. And you can message me directly. I respond to that. If there's something that I'm not able to respond to, I'll let you know. But that's a connection. And so connect. And happy to utilize my network to you in what your needs are individually. That's what we're here for. And that's all. If I can help move forward, that a day, a year, a life.
I appreciate that. If it's okay with you, I'm gonna show something real quickly, and then dedicate the episode, and then.
Yep, sounds good.
So, I'm gonna share my screen so hopefully you can see this. Right now, I'm debuting something that the Business Navigators and the Veteran Coach Network kind of put together. So this is called Life Map. Can you see this?
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So what's great about the Life Map, let's back up a second. So a lot of folks are going through something in life. And yes, maybe a veteran you are. And if you're still serving, you're just a husband, or maybe you're a father and you're trying to figure out how do I connect with my kids or my family. Or maybe you're an executive, but you're so busy as an executive that sometimes, you have minutes, not hours with your kids, unfortunately. And believe it or not, a lot of veterans go through that. When they're serving and you're going up in your time in the days are measured by minutes. And you're bouncing glass balls. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's life or death. So I created a tool. It's a culmination over 20 years of thought, 20 years of experience, 20 years of being mentored. And the tool is to help you help you create a life map. And it has a dashboard, timeline, AI coach, my plan, my calendar, and settings. And it'll link to all of your 20 calendars. I'll link to them. And your family. You can add more family. We're debuting it here, but you can add more. And it has an AI coach. But at the end of the day, there's always something I was told. There's two people in the world. There's one with a plan, and then there's one who works for the people with a plan. And this helps you teach your family and your kids to work with a plan. But here's the other thing. A lot of times in life, we're traveling this way and we're thinking in a parallel. And when we're thinking in this parallel, as life goes on, kids are now getting older. Your spouse or your significant other is maturing in their way of thinking, and so are you. And what happens is there becomes an inverse somewhere. That inverse creates friction, and that friction creates trouble, and that trouble could create divorce, or could create, hey, maybe someone comes off of that plan. And it's okay to come off of some plans, right? There's called branch plans. But at the end of the day, that's still another plan. So you're planning for success, not for failure. So with that said, we made this where you can go 20 years out. So you could really sit down, coach, mentor your family, or have your family help share their ambitions. And there's over 20 different set of domains that I'm going to show you here in a second. And this really helps you and understand that there's different personalities. So I'm going to take a second and just show. This is not going to be a full tutorial. Hopefully you can come on or read my next video, watch the next video on this. So this right here talks about, and there's all inspirational quote every day. What you do today can improve all of our life. This right here is a calendar look for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. But maybe I want to look at it from a Gantt perspective. It's in a 5-year, but maybe I want to look from a 20-year because I want to see how the family or what we're doing, because my kids are young, or mentorship or development, and I want to coach them. And look at this right here. You could add. So I want to start this right here. I want to start a consultancy firm right there. Maybe right here. I want to start my own tech consultancy. You get out, and that's your kid. Maybe that's what your kid wants to do. But maybe you're trying to figure out, well, how do I look at this from a more macro perspective for my kids or my family? We have something called a mind map. And this is something I used to teach at the Command General Staff College when I was helping to develop and mentor the senior field grades or future general officers of the military or future secretaries of defenses or maybe future presidents of other nations. We're literally coaching and mentoring and developing them there. So I said, you know what? I have a choice. I can take what I learned and I can just keep it tucked away, or I can help make the world a better place. And that's what I'm trying to do here, folks. So this is bridged out where you can pick their career, education, finances, health, and so many more. And you break it out, and this is where they have their custom domains on the mind map. You got the Gantt charts, so you get to see where they are individually, where they are in some of their different domains, and it really helps you. And you're like, well, okay, that's good. But how do I help coach them in some of these domains? Well, you could integrate AI. We have tools that we can help create different avatars and whatnot to help you in that. Or you can just go with our generic or general way of it here. And it's pretty good. And then are you on it? Are you on path? Are you meeting your stretch goals? Is your family in alignment? That's huge. Because why are we doing this? Because we want to make sure that family is in alignment. Family in alignment is huge because remember, we want to make sure we're trying to mitigate some of the friction points so we can keep the family on a parallel path going into the future. Folks, you're investing in them. I always say those diapers and the formula and the food and the mentorship, that's an investment. You're investing in your kids, in your family, so you can grow from there. How are you meeting your upcoming milestones? Are you planning for them? This is just March. That's 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. Okay, am I planning for that storm? And I'm gonna something. A lot of veterans, they're great planners. Action planning is a real thing. And then what is our plan? What's my kids' plans? Kids don't have plans and desires. This is an opportunity to pull it out for them, to connect with them and write it down. I wish that I had this as a tool when I was serving, because it could allow me to sit down, because I always was taught from great mentors, you're busy, so you need to make time for your family. So I have 4 kids. I would sit down, each one and have daddy, daughter, daddy, son dates, and I would sit down and get to know them and connect. But if I had this, I could have drawn it out more and said, hey, I see you want to do soccer. That's great, but you want to be a professional athlete? You may say no. Maybe I just want to get through this side. Maybe I want to, whatever reason. But it would have been an opportunity where say, hey, family, can we do a 5K? Hey, family, can we do a 3K? So my point is, this is an opportunity to help set your family up for success. So when you're fighting these friction points or going through some of these milestones as your family, you don't have to go through it by yourself. You could sync it with their phones. You could sync it with your phone. And also, you never know what's on your family. So it's an opportunity where you have to not only coach them, but maybe when you're not around because you're working late hours, because you're trying to put food on the table or trying to take care of the family, you're still around because, hey, we have this goal. And maybe they're going through a hard time, but they see the light at the end of the tunnel for that week or that month. And they know, hey, I got to be there and I'm going to be there. And I can, and I know that I can bring joy or leadership, or what is my legacy as that father or grandfather? Or, hey, maybe we need to work on more mindfulness because I see that my kids are going through struggle. And I can see maybe we can help them a family balance, or that creativity and love. I love, sometimes it's a 4-letter word, but sometimes you need to show and program it. Hey, today, let's just turn off all the lights. Let's turn off all the TVs and let's just sit there or maybe turn lights on. Let's watch a book, read a book. The point is, I'm trying to say is love has to be through showing. It has to be through being present sometimes, or maybe going to church or finding how it is you're investing in your children and how they receive that love. But how do you plan for it? You plan for it. Or you say, hey, this year, guys, let's travel, go to another state. Let's go see something beautiful in our state. Or let's do a weekend trip because I can't afford to do a out-of-state trip. But my point is, you can use this tool. Well, maybe the next month, maybe the next year you can, because you're planning for it. You're seeing it, you're visualizing, and you can see this success. So you say, hey, I need to create a family wealth fund. Well, I think over 20 years you can. You can. So the point is, I'm hoping, which is a powerful word, families can achieve hope through leveraging the Family Life Planning Coach and through this tool that can help them in what they want to do. So please check out the Life Map through the Veteran Coaching Network today. Dennis, what are some of your thoughts?
No, I think we're closing things down. This looks like a great tool. I appreciate you sharing it with me and with thank you very much for that. Thanks for to be a part of the conversation today.
Thank you. Folks, today's episode's a little different. Episode's dedicated to Jason Malone. He was a good friend of mine. United States Central Command, and he had a great reputation and have a great reputation. He's to some of his demons. So I will say this, folks, if you're a veteran or first responder or anyone in life that's going through anything out there, you're not alone. Don't suffer. And please, there's great organizations out there. Yes, there's the Heroes Equine Connection, and yes, there's some showing, but you don't have to do it. You don't have to go through. Please know that there's a band of sisters and out there that will help you. All you can do is pick up the phone, And folks, if you're drinking or you're to help, you don't mix prescription medications with alcohol. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying don't do it. And if you are drinking and please drink them. And if you need help, a lot of great resources to help you, folks. And don't feel like you have to suffer by yourself and suppress those demons. Give it to God or give it to mindfulness or meditation, but don't sit there and just suffer in silence today. So we'll take a quick moment of silence, and then I'll play the last video.
There's a moment right before the lights come on, when preparation meets opportunity, when your voice finally matters. This is where leaders stop sitting in the audience and start commanding the room. Veterans, founders, executives, people who've done the work and are ready to be heard. No hype, no noise, just clarity, confidence, and execution. If you're ready to step on stage, own the moment, and unlock what's next. Welcome to Strategy Unlocked. Command the room.
Powered by the Master Coach Headquarters and the Business Navigators.